guys, welcome back to another video on the channel, and today I'm going to do my Premier League Game Week 11 predictions. And yeah, some interesting games and one huge game at the very end, which we'll get into, an absolute corker. Plus, League Simulator and all of that to go. It's going to be fascinating. And yeah, I'm very buzzing for this week. Some interesting games. The table is shaping up quite nicely. And should we start off with the first game, which is, and I've got a fresh trim. Should we start off with the first game, which is Brentford versus Brighton? A very fascinating game. Brentford sit 11th, Brighton sits 7th, 14 points to Brentford's 10. Brighton are a brand new team, really. I think their new manager is not bad whatsoever. Their new manager is actually quite good. And for me, this game is just going to get a little bit... This game's going to be fascinating because I'm really not too sure what sort of Brentford we're going to get. We're going to get Brentford who, can beat, Leeds United 5-2, or Brentford that can lose to Newcastle 5-1. For me, I'm not too sure which Brentford we're going to get. Brighton aren't a bad side. They just lose 1-0 to Tottenham, but that is Tottenham. That's a very tough game, especially to win as well. Maybe Brighton in away form, 2 away wins this season out of 4. Not awful, I guess, with Brentford having 2 home wins, and only home wins they've got is 2. The only wins they've got is home games. So this is going to be fascinating. Their 2 home games were against Leeds and Manchester United. For me, this game is going to be fascinating. I can see a Brighton win. For me, 2-1 Brighton. For me, Brighton just have enough in the tank, enough quality, and for me, all 3 points will go to Brighton. Moving on to Leicester City versus Crystal Palace. Palace in 15th and Leicester City at the bottom with 4 points all season. Pretty horrendous. Shocking, really. Poor start to the season for Leicester City. They just came back off top. Bottom. The bottom. They went 19th, back to bottom again. It's just pretty woeful. I don't really see any identity in Leicester City. I see Maddison, is playing well, but I don't think he'll get near an England call up just due to Leicester doing so poor. I just don't see an England call up, even though he has been pretty decent for Leicester City. He's been one of the highlights of their season. For me, Crystal Palace don't look awful. 15th, 3 points off safety. They're 3 points away from the drop zone. So 3 points clear of the drop zone. They have to win. Crystal Palace is Leicester at home. It's Leicester away even for Crystal Palace. It's a tough fixture, even though it's Leicester City at the moment. Brendan Rodgers could be sacked any minute, any day, any week. For me, 2-1 to Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace get all 3 points, and that's me 2-1 away wins in both games. Moving on to Fulham versus Bournemouth is actually 8th v 9th, and guess who's 8th? You got it. Bournemouth are 8th. They're overtaken Fulham. Bournemouth have surprised a lot of people. They surprised me, even though I predicted them to be 13th. I thought it would be a scrappy season. At the moment, 12 points out of 9 games. Not bad, I guess. 8 goals scored. Yeah, it's considered 20 goals, but 9 of them were to Liverpool. So you take 5 off, it'd be 15. So it won't be awful. But this Bournemouth side don't look awful. They actually look decent. 3 wins, 3 draws, and 3 losses. It's not awful. But Fulham, 3 wins, 2 draws, and 4 losses. 14 goals scored, 18 conceded, and 11 points. Bournemouth are ahead of Liverpool, Leicester, Wolves, Villa. How are they ahead of that? That's absolutely crazy. For me, Fulham, I think, will rack up all 3 points. I'm going to go 2-1. This is going to be a fascinating game, of course. Fulham don't look bad at all. Mitrovic, I think, is back. I'm not too sure if he's back or not. But anyway, for me, 2-1 to Fulham. Moving on to Wolves versus Nottingham Forest, an absolute awful game. I'm not looking forward to this game. 3 p.m. kickoff at least. It's just a horrific game to watch. 18th v 19th. Wolves have only scored 3 goals all season. 3 goals all season. That is 3 times the amount of games they've played. They've played 3 times the amount of the goals. 9 games, 3 goals scored. That's a goal every 3 games. That is horrendous for Wolves. 1 win and 3 draws and 5 losses. Goes up in 2s. It's absolutely horrendous. 12 conceded. So they don't concede all too many, but they don't score. That's the problem with Wolves. That's why they're going to be in the danger zone. But Nottingham Forest, 19th, not doing all too better either. 1 win, 2 draws, and 6 losses. 1 point behind Wolves. It's a massive 6-pointer. Wolves 3 losses in a row. Forest before the draw to Villa, it was 5 losses in a row before the Villa draw. This game has just got a 1-1 or a 0-0 written all over it. Me, I'm going to go for some goals, 1-1. Moving on to Tottenham versus Everton. An interesting game. Tottenham aren't too bad, sitting in 3rd position right now, 4 points off top place, which is Arsenal. And they're not bad. Tottenham have not had a bad start to the season whatsoever. Only went 6 wins this season, 2 losses and 1 loss, 2 draws and a loss. So they lost 1 game all season. That was in the North London derby. They've drawn a few games. One of them was to West Ham. So they haven't been bad. 4 home wins this season. Tottenham 4 out of 4, 100% record at home. And Everton 1 win out of 4 away games. So Everton are averaging 25% of their away wins. They've won 25% of their away wins. So it's not looking great for Everton. It's looking very good for Tottenham. But Everton are sitting 10th, 12th with 10 points. Not looking bad. For me, Tottenham just get all 3 points here. At home, they're 100%, and I think that'll carry on. For me, 2-0, comfortable. Double Kane masterclass. Kane brace incoming, and 2-0 for me for Tottenham. Moving on to the Sunday games, and I swear there's like 5 games at 2 o'clock. 1, 2, 3, 4 games at 2 o'clock. Mad. Villa versus Chelsea. Chelsea don't look awful. Without any stretch of the imagination, they don't look bad. 3 wins on the bounce under Graham Potter, and they beat West Ham 2-1, beat Palace 2-1, beat Wolves 3-0, including a 3-0 home win over Milan and a 2-0 away win over Milan in the Champions League. So honestly, this game is looking pretty tasty. It's going to be fascinating. I'm very excited for this game. And yeah, for me, Villa just don't look great. Right, Steven Gerrard's job is under threat. They are unbeaten in 4, so they've got that. Then Chelsea are only unbeaten in 3, but they've won 3 in a row. For me, that win streak will carry on. 2-0 to Chelsea. A strong performance, a comfortable away win over Villa. And yeah, moving on to Leeds United versus Arsenal. I don't see Arsenal losing. I don't see Arsenal losing here. Top of the table, 24 points, sitting quite comfortably, quite strong, quite relaxed, composed. And I can just see Arsenal possibly going all the way. They're one of the only 2 teams who haven't drawn this season, Arsenal and Manchester United. 8 wins this season for Arsenal, 1 loss. And that loss was to Man United away, so that's a tough game. Of course, it was a tough game. It was a 3-1 loss, but in Arsenal Man United were just insane. This Arsenal side just looked absolutely outrageous. They just looked absolutely fantastic. And I don't see this Arsenal team losing. Plus, the game against Manchester City on Tuesday has been postponed. The best game that would have been for ages has been postponed. I'm fuming. But for me, Arsenal carry on their wins. That'll be 9 wins for the season out of 10 games. They would not have drawn a game this season. They have not drawn one. And moving on to Manchester United versus Newcastle. Another team that hasn't drawn this season, and that is Manchester United. 5 wins, 3 losses. They were on an awful run of losses. Man United. They were on like a 2-loss streak. And then they figured that not to play Maguire. And then they went on a 4-game streak win. Imagine it's 4-0 loss to Brentford. That felt like yesterday. And then 4 wins in a row, and then a 6-3 loss to City, and then a 2-0 win, 2-1, should I say, win over Everton. So I haven't drawn the season at all. Newcastle in hand, that's 9-2 on ag for the last 2 games. They scored 9, conceded 2, 5-1, 4-1. It's outrageous. 4-1 away win over Fulham as well. We're not putting too much respect on that result. That is an outrageous result. Outrageous. And a 5-1 home win over Brentford. This game's got goals in it. For me, 3-2. 3-2. Not 32. 3-2 to Manchester United. So now the quality. Moving on to Southampton versus West Ham. 4 losses in a row for Southampton. 2 on the bounce for West Ham. Both teams, one team's going in the right direction. The other team's going in a horrendous direction. Southampton 1 point clear of the drop zone. West Ham move up to 4 points clear. And 6 points out of 6 in the last 2. It's brilliant. It's brilliant to see West Ham finally showing a little bit of form. Sitting in 13th right now. Get another win. Try and move up possibly into the top 10. This game just has a West Ham win all over it. It'll be scrappy. It'll be nervy. It'll be a 1-0 win for West Ham. Scrappy game, but a good game. Moving on to the last game. Wow. Liverpool versus Manchester City. What game this would have been if Liverpool weren't on an awful run of form, and it is to be expected. I don't know why so many people thought they were going to do really well. They just played every single game last season. They weren't going to play well. Too tired, poor, and a moment lack of identity, really. I just don't really see where the goals are going to come from. You look at Nunez, and don't compare him to Haaland ever. Don't know why we were comparing him to Haaland. He's nothing like Haaland. Haaland's a poacher, a robot. Nunez is a guy who headbutts Leeds players. Come on, that's embarrassing to compare the two. So we're never comparing them two again. Haaland is going to be the next GOAT, not like better than Messi or Ronaldo, but he's going to be the next GOAT of the generation when Ronaldo and Messi retire, sadly. Unless you get a shone through like Foden or Mount or Musiala, Bellingham, a few Aaron Ramsdale in there as well. Got a few, not Aaron Ramsdale won't be GOAT, but you've got a few players who could be, the next Messi and Ronaldo, like the B-Tech Messi and Ronaldo. No one's ever going to be Messi or Ronaldo. No one's going to be better than Messi or Ronaldo. That's another video on another day. But for me, Liverpool just looks shocking. We're not going to talk about the Henderson thing because I don't know what's going on with it. But yeah, Henderson, I don't know. We're not talking about it. But Manchester City, due to Copenhagen 0-0. Liverpool in the Champions League tonight. But what a funny story. 0-0 over Copenhagen when Haaland wasn't playing. For me, 3-1 to Manchester City. A Manchester City masterclass. 3-1. So that does wrap up the video. Look at my score predictions. Brentford 1, Brighton 2, Leicester City 1, Crystal Palace 2, Fulham 2, Bournemouth 1, Wolves 1, Forest 1, Tottenham 2, Everton 0, Villa 0, Chelsea 2, Leeds 0, Arsenal 2, Manchester United 3, Newcastle 2, Southampton 0, West Ham 1, and Liverpool 1. Manchester City 3. Now moving onto the league simulator. And yes, this is the league. That's not the league simulator. That's not the league simulator. That is the league simulator. So yeah, looking at the table, Chelsea in bottom. Wow. Bournemouth, Leeds, Villa. I'll go slowly up. And yeah, moving on to the fixtures: Leeds versus Wolves, Southampton, Palace, Brentford, United, Newcastle, Liverpool, Tottenham, Villa, West Ham, Chelsea. Wow, Chelsea need to win that. Bournemouth, Fulham, Leicester. Oh, that's actually happening. Bournemouth, Fulham, Leicester, Everton. Oh, first time. Man City, Forest, and Arsenal versus Brighton. Do you see the results? As you can see, Leeds 1, Wolves 2, Southampton 3, Palace 0, Brentford 0, Manchester United 2, Newcastle 4, Liverpool 2, Tottenham 1, Villa 2, West Ham 2, Chelsea 2, Bournemouth 2, Fulham 0, Leicester City 0, Everton 2, Manchester City 5, Nottingham Forest 0, and Brighton 2, Arsenal 0. Looking at the table, Chelsea are in the mud, 10 points off safety. 10 points, yeah. So 20th Chelsea, 19th Leeds, 18th Fulham, all of them in the relegation zone. That's going to be interesting. 17th Arsenal, 16th Bournemouth, 15th Villa, 14th Southampton, 13th Newcastle, 12th Everton, 11th Wolves, 10th Brighton, 9th Palace, 8th Brentford, 7th Manchester City. Man City in the Conference League. In the Europa League spots is 6th Leicester City, 5th Manchester United, and in the Champions League spots 4th West Ham, 3rd Tottenham, 2nd Liverpool, and remaining top at the moment is Nottingham Forest. Any interesting games last week? Next week, Forest versus United, 1st v 5th. Everton Arsenal is in there. Chelsea Southampton. Where's Southampton? 14th. All right with the game. Is 2nd v 10th. That's an interesting one. But yeah, that does wrap up the video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and yes, only 10 away from 150 subscribers. Can we hit that? See you guys later.